Hello everyone, and welcome to today's English Learning Podcast. In today's episode, we are going to talk about a very important topic for both English teachers and English learners: effective methods for teaching English grammar. Grammar is often considered one of the most difficult parts of learning a language. Many students can memorize vocabulary and understand simple conversations, but when they try to make their own sentences, they become confused about tenses, word order, articles, prepositions, or auxiliary verbs. So, how can we teach grammar in a way that is simple, useful, and interesting? In this episode, we will discuss several effective methods, including the traditional grammar method, the communicative approach, teaching grammar through context, inductive and deductive learning, task-based teaching, and the use of technology in games. Let's begin. 1. The traditional grammar method. The first method is the traditional or deductive approach. In this method, the teacher explains the grammar rule first. After that, students practice the rule through exercises. For example, when teaching the present perfect tense, the teacher might write subject plus have or has plus past participle. Then the teacher gives some examples. I have visited London. She has finished her homework. They have lived here for 5 years. After explaining the rule, students complete exercises such as filling in the blanks or changing sentences. This method has some important advantages. First, it is clear and organized. Students know exactly what grammar point they are learning. Second, it can be useful for students who prefer logical explanations. Some learners like to understand the rule before they start practicing. However, there is also a disadvantage. If grammar is taught only through rules and exercises, students may understand grammar theoretically but still have difficulty using it in real conversations. For this reason, the traditional method is useful, but it should not be the only method we use. 2. The communicative approach. The second method is the communicative approach. The main idea is simple: students should learn grammar by using English to communicate. Instead of spending a long time explaining rules, the teacher creates situations where students need to use a particular grammar structure. For example, suppose the lesson is about the past simple tense. Instead of beginning with a long explanation of regular and irregular verbs, the teacher can ask students questions such as, what did you do yesterday? Where did you go last weekend? What did you eat for dinner? Students answer these questions and ask each other similar questions. The teacher listens and provides feedback when necessary. This approach helps students understand that grammar is not simply a collection of rules. Grammar is a tool for communication. For example, students don't learn the past simple only because it is an important grammar topic. They learn it because they need it to talk about experiences, activities, and events in the past. The communicative approach can also make classes more enjoyable because students have opportunities to speak, interact, and express their own ideas. 3. Teaching grammar through context. Another highly effective method is teaching grammar through context. Context means presenting grammar in a meaningful situation rather than teaching isolated sentences. Imagine that the teacher wants to teach the present continuous. Instead of simply saying, the present continuous is formed with the verb to be plus an ing verb, the teacher could show a picture of a busy park. The teacher asks, what is the man doing? Students might answer, he is running. What is the woman doing? She is reading. What are the children doing? They are playing. After several examples, the teacher can explain the grammar rule. This approach allows students to see how the grammar is actually used. Context can come from many different sources: pictures, stories, videos, conversations, news reports, songs, or everyday situations. For example, when teaching future forms, the teacher can create a context about future plans. I'm going to visit my friend tomorrow. I think it will rain. I'm meeting my teacher at 5. Students can then compare these examples and discover why different future forms are used. The more meaningful the context, the easier it is for students to remember the grammar. 4. The inductive approach. Now let's talk about the inductive approach. This approach is almost the opposite of the traditional deductive method. In the deductive method, the teacher gives the rule first and examples afterward. In the inductive method, students see examples first and try to discover the rule themselves. For example, the teacher writes these sentences on the board. I usually drink coffee in the morning. She usually drinks tea. They usually go to work by bus. The teacher then asks, what do you notice? Students may notice that the verb changes with she. The teacher can ask more questions and guide students toward the rule. This method encourages students to think critically and become active participants in the learning process. It can also improve their ability to notice patterns in English. However, inductive learning may take more time, and some students may find it difficult if the examples are not clear. Therefore, teachers should choose the approach according to the student's level, age, learning style, and the grammar point being taught. 5. Task-based grammar teaching. Another useful method is task-based learning. In task-based teaching, students complete a meaningful task using English. For example, the teacher wants students to practice comparative adjectives. Instead of giving students 20 sentences to complete, the teacher could give them a task. Imagine that you are choosing a new city to live in. Compare 3 cities and decide which one is the best. Students might say, City A is cheaper than City B. City C is more beautiful. City B is more crowded. City A is the safest. Students are using grammar because they need it to complete the task. This method is particularly useful because students focus on meaning and communication while naturally practicing grammar. Tasks can be simple or complex. For beginners, the task could be describing a picture. For intermediate learners, it could be planning a holiday. For advanced students, it could be discussing an environmental problem and proposing solutions. The important point is that grammar becomes part of a meaningful activity. 6. Using stories to teach grammar. Stories are another excellent way to teach grammar. People naturally remember information better when it is connected to a story. For example, to teach different past tenses, the teacher can tell a short story. Yesterday, I was walking home when I saw an old friend. I had not seen him for 5 years. We talked for a few minutes, and then we decided to have coffee together. This short story contains several useful grammar structures. I was walking demonstrates the past continuous. I saw demonstrates the past simple. I had not seen demonstrates the past perfect. After hearing the story, students can identify the different tenses and discuss why each one was used. Stories make grammar more memorable because students learn grammar as part of a meaningful sequence of events. 7. Games and interactive activities. Grammar lessons don't have to be boring. Games can be a powerful teaching tool, especially for children and teenagers, but they can also work very well with adults. For example, teachers can use grammar quizzes, sentence races, information gap activities, role plays, board games, or guessing games. Imagine a class learning the present perfect. One student says, I have visited 3 countries. Another student asks, have you ever been to Canada? The first student answers, no, I haven't. Students are practicing the grammar while interacting with each other. Games can increase motivation and reduce anxiety. When students are relaxed, they are often more willing to experiment with language and make mistakes. And mistakes are a natural part of language learning. 8. Teaching grammar through technology. Technology has also changed the way grammar can be taught. Teachers can use videos, interactive exercises, online quizzes, educational websites, digital flashcards, and language learning applications. For example, a teacher can show a short video and ask students to identify examples of the grammar they are studying. Students can also complete interactive exercises and receive immediate feedback. Technology can make grammar practice more personalized. A student who needs more practice with articles can spend extra time on articles, while another student can focus on verb tenses. However, technology should support teaching rather than replace the teacher. A digital exercise may tell students that an answer is wrong, but a teacher can explain why it is wrong and how the student can improve. 9. Correcting grammar mistakes. Another important question is, how should teachers correct students' grammar mistakes? If teachers correct every single mistake immediately, students may become nervous and stop speaking. On the other hand, if teachers never correct mistakes, students may continue using incorrect forms. The best approach is usually balance. For example, during a speaking activity, the teacher can allow students to communicate without interrupting them constantly. After the activity, the teacher can discuss some common mistakes with the whole class. The teacher might say, I heard some students say, he go to school every day. What should we say? The students can answer, he goes to school every day. This method allows students to communicate freely while still receiving useful feedback. Teachers should also remember to focus on errors that are important for the lesson. Not every mistake needs immediate correction. 10. Practice, repetition, and review. Finally, effective grammar teaching requires practice and review. Students usually cannot learn a grammar structure after seeing it only once. They need opportunities to encounter it, understand it, practice it, and use it in different situations. For example, a teacher might introduce the present perfect today, practice it through exercises tomorrow, use it in a speaking activity next week, and review it again several weeks later. This process is called spaced practice or spaced review. Repeated exposure helps students move grammar from short-term memory into long-term knowledge. However, repetition does not have to mean doing the same exercise again and again. Students can practice the same grammar through different activities: writing, speaking, reading, listening, games, stories, and real-life tasks. Conclusion. So, what is the best method for teaching English grammar? The answer is that there is no single perfect method. Different students have different needs, and different grammar points require different approaches. A good grammar lesson may combine several methods. For example, the teacher can begin with a meaningful context, allow students to discover the grammar pattern, give a short explanation of the rule, provide controlled practice, and finally give students an opportunity to use the grammar in real communication. The most important principle is to make grammar meaningful. Students should not learn grammar only as a list of rules. They should learn how grammar helps them communicate their ideas, describe experiences, ask questions, tell stories, express opinions, and understand other people. As teachers, Our goal should be to help students move from knowing a grammar rule to actually using it confidently. And as learners, we should remember that making mistakes is not a sign of failure. Mistakes are evidence that we are trying to use the language. So, whether you are a teacher or a student, try to make grammar active, meaningful, communicative, and enjoyable. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope this discussion has given you some useful ideas about teaching and learning English grammar. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep using English. Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.